This is my seventh lecture on the poem Elegy Written in Country Churchyard. This poem is written by Thomas Gray, and this is in the form of an elegy. The theme is about loss of country people who are lying in graveyard, and there is no one to sing in their memory. The poet takes a special note and sings for these common rustic people. He says, their name, their ears spelled by the unlettered muse, the place of fame and elegy supply, and many a holy text around she stews that teach the rustic moralist to die. Now, while talking about the fate of these common people, the poet says they have lived a very ordinary life. There was nothing great or nothing big or famous about their life that could be written or that could attract attention of the poets to write about them. Even the world has discarded them, thinking them to be very ordinary, useless people. But the poet says they were not ordinary. Their lives, though were ordinary, but in a way were very pure. They lived simple lives which were not corrupt by their ambitions. He says, their name they is spelled by the unlettered muse. On these graves, there are no big monuments. People have simply written their names, their years, the date of births, the date of passing away. And these things have been written by unlettered muse. Unlettered muse in a very simple way. There are no big poets to write for them, or the people who are writing for them are equally unlettered or equally uneducated, and they're writing in most ordinary ways about these people. The place of fame and elegy supply. Now, there is nothing to write about their deeds which were famous. So, in a way, people do not find anything which could be written as an elegy. So, there is very little material that could be written for them by many people in the form of elegy. But the poet says, I would write about them because he thinks their lives, their simplicity of lives, their purity of lives is in fact a matter of writing about, is in fact a matter to be celebrated because they were more pure, they were more capable of being worshipped as compared to others who have lived a life full of corruption, full of sin, and who have even tried to sell the honor of their own country. So he thinks that writing for these people is, in a way, much more called for, or is the need that they should also be written, or they should also be the theme of some poet's writing. And later on, Gray would try to somewhere, by sympathizing with these people, he would try to identify himself with these people, and somewhere he would try to identify the fate of all human beings, the fate of poets when they die, because if a poet is popular, people sing for them, and if a poet is not popular, people tend to forget him. And sometimes what happens? Every poet thinks that he may be remembered or he may not be remembered by the humanity at large. And somewhere he feels insecure that whatever he has written for the humanity, whether it would be acclaimed, or whether it would be useful for the humanity, or whether it would be in the memory of the people at large. So all these insecurities, all these messages, these universal messages which are in every person or every poet who is writing, they are there with Gray as well. So when he says, the place of fame and elegy supply, and many a holy text around she eschews, that teach the rustic moralist to die. Now these people, they have been called rustic moralist. They are rustic. They are not refined, or they are not very educated. They live in countrysides, and but they are moralists. They are full of moral values. They do not get an opportunity to commit sin, and that is why at heart they are very noble souls. So there are things which could have been written on their graves, but they are not written. There is very little reference to holy texts, or there is very little reference to their deeds of popularity. For whom to dumb forgetfulness a prey. When they die, they are prey to forgetfulness. F is in capital letters, and forgetfulness as a quality has been personified. So they are prey to forgetfulness. This pleasing, anxious being ever resigned, left the warm precincts of the cheerful day. Now he's talking about a grave, and this grave is holding someone who must have been quite anxious during his lifetime. Now that person has been resigned to this grave, left the warm precincts of the cheerful day, and this person was living, and when he was living, he was part of this cheerful day, nor cast one longing, lingering look behind. Now, what is the point of talking about them? Because there is no one to remember them, and the people who have died, they must have passed a longing, lingering look behind while leaving this world, but there is no one to sing for them. On some fond breast, the parting soul relies. Whoever dies looks back at his near and dear ones, and their soul relies, depend upon some fond breast, the person who is remembering them, or who goes through pain while they are leaving the world. Some pious drops the closing eyes require. Now when they are dying, they are closing their eyes, they need some pious drops, they need some pure tears which are shed in their memories, which are shed for their loss. Even from the tomb, the voice of nature cries, even in our ashes live their wonted fires. Now, even from their tomb, the voice of nature cries. Nature is also crying with them, and it is quite natural that you want to be loved. And if you give love, you want the love to return to you. And when these people, when they are parting their wonted fires, they are claiming love from the people with whom they had lived. For thee who, mindful of the unhonored dead, dost in these lines their artless tale relate. For thee who, mindful of the unhonored dead, for these who are mindful of the people who had not been respected, the dead who had not been respected, dost in these lines their artless tale relate. The lines which I am writing, the people who are loving their people who are no more would relate their tale to these people. If chance by lonely contemplation led, some kindred spirit shall inquire thy fate. If by chance, by lonely contemplation led, the way I am contemplating, the way the poet is contemplating, thinking about some kindred, the spirit which is full of, or the soul which is full of passion or love, some kindred spirit shall inquire thy fate, their fate, the fate of the people who are dead, the destiny of the people who are dead. The poet in a way is trying to invoke the entire human civilization, that they should also be thoughtful of the people who have lived very ordinary life and who are no more, because the feeling of being loved, the feeling of genial love is in every soul, and they would also feel the same way while departing, howsoever simple their lives must have been. Haply some hoary headed swain may say, oft have we seen him at the peep of the dawn. Now, as I said, he is trying to relate himself with these people, and he is saying that once he is dead, maybe there would no one to remember him. And if somebody would inquire, the villager would say, yes, we have seen the poet roaming about here, and we have seen him during the time of dawn, brushing with hasty steps that dews away. And he would say that we have seen him removing the dews from his steps to meet the sun upon the upland lawn, and we have seen him to meet the morning sun or the evening sun upon the upland lawn, upon some upland, so that he could see the sun. So there would be some villager to report about the poet after his death. Thank you.